Hello everyone, welcome to another reaction video. Last week's reaction video went so well. You guys loved it. And I have to admit, I had a lot of fun with it too. Just walking down memory lane, kind of seeing those new things. So I'm back at it today. And someone in the comments recommended, hey, you should just do one video every year, like, for each year that you've shared videos. So last week's was 2007. So today it is 2008. I've picked a card video. I think it's really short. I haven't watched it yet, but I did see like a thumbnail or whatever. Let's watch it.
Hi everyone,
Okay.
it's time for Make a Card
This is when I would do intros for my videos. This is, okay, how old was I here? It was 2008. So I was 25. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. I had not turned 26 yet. Oh my word. Okay. All right. So I'm doing intros here. Let's go. Oh, and that was a great time to stop it. Looks great.
for Monday, February 11th,
February
2008.
11th, 2008.
This week I have a very simple card.
You'll also notice that my teeth are different. This was a few months before I started in Invisalign. So yeah, my teeth are generally pretty straight now, but I had a lot of like generalized spacing and stuff going on.
For you. Very minimal materials and just a little bit of bling. So enjoy the video this week and I'll catch you next week.
Okay, so Make a Card Monday, February 11th, 2008. Oh, this is great. I didn't turn on the camera. Okay, so card's probably half done. Okay, so I folded the card and I've used one sticker. I don't know what the sticker was. These are ready to glitter stickers from Making Memories. Oh, okay. Okay, I remember these a little bit now. No, we're not stopping there. We're not gonna have it just say hell. Hello, there we go. Yeah, do you guys remember Making Memories way back in the day? They were a huge company. I remember going to CHA, the trade show at the time. They would have a huge booth and so much hype all around their booth. They had every scrapbooking supply under the sun. They were a little bit like how American Crafts is now, but more over the top. Like they had a lot of stuff. Okay, so I'm really struggling removing the backing on these. They're basically, if you think of like double-sided sticky tape, it's kind of like that. And they have the release paper on it. Oh, and here's a picture of the final card. This is back at the day in YouTube when the thumbnails, you couldn't upload your own thumbnail for your video. So everyone would just put like a picture right in the smack middle of their timeline on their video in hopes that YouTube would pick that frame as their thumbnail. And it didn't pick it for this video, but I tried. I am really struggling with these. Okay, so now all the adhesive is exposed. I'm putting the glitter on it. Lovely, love that glitter. And we're gonna put some pattern paper on. Using some of that Tombow, love that Tombow, classic. And I'm using my grid paper to help me get it on there completely straight. And then I'm adhering. That looks like I just used the back side of that pattern paper for that hello piece. Trim off the side. Okay, so I made a card earlier that was atrocious, so I salvaged the ribbon and I'm reusing it here. Well, that's really pretty ribbon. I believe it was from Stampin' Up. There we go. So I think that's the card. That is the complete card. Okay, so there's not a lot here to go off of. It's a very simple card design. I don't really have a lot of ribbon in my stash anymore. I think I have maybe one type of ribbon. I think it's some white ribbon from Gina K. Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to have to get creative with this. But other than that, it's just like a band with a greeting on it and another band of pattern paper. So let's get into it. Slight pause here right in the middle of the video to let you guys know that the new class, the online card class, is called Crushing on Cardstock.
is available for registration. It starts in a couple of weeks, and we have special early bird pricing through this Sunday. So check out the link down below in the video description or at my blog. You can click over and sign up for class right away and join us for Crushing on Cardstock. Okay, so here we go. This is getting into my card design. Like I did before in that other video, I've got the original card off to the side, and I'm sketching out my idea on the right. By the way, this cute little post-it note is from Lawn Fawn. I'll link to that if they're still available. So the first thing I did to change up this card was I made it portrait. It is now a top folding, or I should say, top folding portrait card, tall card. And I'm going to have a little border at the bottom. I'm going to have glitter die cut letters for my greeting. I'm keeping the greeting as hello since it's short and sweet, and so I can have large letters. I'm going to have some pattern paper, and then I'm going to do a die cut border at the bottom instead of ribbon. I don't have a lot of ribbon in my stash anymore. I don't use it often, so that's what I'm going to do instead of ribbon. So this beautiful pattern paper is from Craft Consortium. This is the Eastern Influences 6x6 pad. I think I bought this 6x6 pad 2 years ago, so it's probably not available anymore, but I'm just working through my stash like all of us out there. So I took the color inspiration from the pattern paper and picked out some different colors of cardstock. These are all from Concord and Ninth. First, I've got eggplant, and then marmalade, and then I'm going to use a little bit of sea glass. It is the perfect color match for the aqua blue tones in the pattern paper. It's kind of cool. For my glitter die cut letters, I'm going to use the Dazzling Diamond glitter cardstock from Altenew. I think there's 10 or maybe 8 sheets of that cardstock in that pack. And then I'm using the Dotted Borders dies from Avery Elle for my border at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to get out my little borders here, and I'm first going to cut this orange cardstock. I've already cut it to 4 1/4 wide, so I just need to cut the bottom edge so that it has that decorative edge. I'm using some Easy C tape to hold the die in place while I run it through my die cutting machine. And then I'm going to be die cutting the letters at the same time. Now, the die letters that I'm using today are discontinued. They're no longer available. They're from CZ Design, but they don't sell them anymore. So I'll have some alternate suggestions that have a similar look and the supplies for this video. So if you're looking for some good alphabet dies, you can check that out. That glitter cardstock cut like a dream. I was nervous it wouldn't cut through because it's very thick cardstock, but those dies did great. I cut down my pattern paper, and then I also used the height of the die cut letters to determine how tall I wanted that cardstock to go right behind it. So I just used the die cut letter, made a little tick mark with a pencil, and then cut my piece down. So I really wanted the die cut letters to have a tone on tone effect with the cardstock. So from the start, I decided to use a white glitter cardstock so that I could use my alcohol markers or Copic markers to color the cardstock to the perfect aqua tone. So the perfect color turned out to be BG13, and it's the most beautiful tone of this bluish teal, and it matches perfectly. You're going to see here in a minute when I put them on top. So I used the chisel end of my marker to color the glitter. A bunch of you in the comments last time I did this said, save your brush tip, use the chisel tip. And I thought, duh, why didn't I do that? So I'm just brushing on this color using the chisel tip of my Copic marker. And then as I pop these out, you can see how much it really did color that glitter. And it's this most gorgeous color. To finish it off and make it look very seamless, I decided to color the edges of the die cuts as well. That just makes it so you can't tell that it had a white core before I started coloring it. So here it is on top of that sea glass cardstock from Concord and Ninth. And this tone-on-tone effect is absolutely gorgeous. I was very pleasantly surprised how well this worked. I was doubting at first how well it would work. So I used some liquid glue from Honeybee to adhere the letters, and I just eyeballed this. I tried to get it completely centered. It's not perfect, but you know, it's okay. This is a handmade card. It doesn't have to be perfect. I used my tweezers and just to pick up those letters, put some glue on the back, and then kind of wiggle it in place. That's the good part about using liquid glue. You have some time to kind of manipulate it and move the letters around until they're permanently stuck together. So now I have my greeting piece done. I'm going to work on the card base. I'm going back to that eggplant cardstock, which I've cut to 4 1/4 by 11 and then scored at 5 1/2 to create a top folding card. So at this point, I haven't glued anything together. I'm just eyeballing it, trying to see how things are going to work. And I decided I wanted to add a pattern to that eggplant cardstock. So I'm using a background stamp. This is the Floral Tile Bold Prints background stamp from Hero Arts. And I've prepped my card base with some anti-static powder. And then I stamped my greeting in Versamark ink. And when I closed the door on my MISTI and stamped down, I used my glider, my Stampin' Bug glider, to really get a good impression going across this very large background stamp. And it worked extremely well. I had always planned to use clear embossing powder on top, but if I didn't want to, this looks beautiful just with the Versamark with a tone-on-tone effect. I'm applying some clear embossing powder from Ranger. And then I'll hit this with a heat tool until everything's smooth and melted. Now my heat tool was pretty warm. I let it heat up quite a bit, so it melted this embossing powder super fast. This video footage is not sped up at all. That's how easy and smooth and fast this embossing powder melted. So I did have to go over some areas that weren't completely melted, but I was actually kind of amazed. I'd forgotten how easily this embossing powder melts. It's actually really pretty. And I love the almost sparkly, glistening look across this background when it has the clear embossing on top. I used some Simon Says Stamp Dot Runner to adhere the orange piece to the bottom of my card base. And I lined up my card base on my grid mat and then put that right on top. And that helped me get it completely straight. I then placed the pattern paper on top. It's not adhered, I just placed it there because I want to put the pattern paper on some foam adhesive, but I needed to know where to put the hello piece first so that the bottom edge could go underneath the pattern paper. So I got that in place and then removed the pattern paper and then pressed down on the letters. So now the letters are adhered down on top of the orange cardstock, and we're going to put the pattern paper on top. Trimmed off the excess that was hanging off the end there, and then put some foam adhesive on the back of the pattern paper. Once again, I'm lining up my card base with my grid mat and then putting that pattern paper right on top. This is one of the reasons why I love working on top of a grid, because it helps me get everything perfectly straight on my cards. Now, I wasn't going to add anything like a bow or anything. I thought that the border was enough, but I wanted to bring a little pop of white into this design. So I decided at the last minute to add a little bit of embroidery floss. This is just white embroidery floss. It's very inexpensive and it lasts forever. Trimmed off the excess of the tails on the bow, and then here's my finished card. So I really love how this turned out. It does harken back to that old kind of classic clean and simple card design that I'm known for, or was known for back in the day. But I punched it up a little bit with a little more stamping and some DIY glitter letters. I really love how this turned out. Hope you guys like it too. Just a reminder that Crushing on Cardstock class is open for registration. Class starts on the 23rd of August, and there is special pricing through this Sunday, so don't forget to check that out. The link is down below in the video description. Thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next week for some more card videos.